Hello, welcome to the Grow Your Wealthy Mindset podcast, where it is all about helping amazing physicians just like you create a wealthy life free from burnout and with the financial security to practice medicine on your own terms. I'm your host, Dr. Elisa Zhang. Welcome back to the Grow Your Wealthy Mindset podcast. This month's happiness activity is all about nurturing the social connections that matter most. This is the fifth happiness boosting practice from Sonja Lyubomirsky's book, The How of Happiness. And while it may appeal more to you who are extroverts, introverts can get a lot out of this too. Because the truth is, no matter where you are on the social spectrum, we're all wired for connection. Our relationships are a huge part of what make life meaningful. And yes, joyful. So whether you're looking to deepen your bond with your spouse, reconnect with a friend, or simply feel more supported and connected in your day-to-day life, this episode is for you. We humans are social creatures, and there's really no getting around that. We live in societies, we form families, we build communities. And when you look at happy people, they almost always have strong social connections. They tend to have a wide circle of friends, a romantic partner, and a great deal of emotional and social support in their lives. In fact, the happier a person is, the more likely she is to be in a long-lasting and fulfilling marriage. I know personally my marriage with my husband is a great source of happiness for myself. Happier people are more likely to be satisfied with their family life and social activities, and even to consider their partner a great love, as well as receive meaningful support from friends, coworkers, and loved ones. In fact, the happier a person is, the more likely she is to be a long-lasting and fulfilling marriage. My husband and I just celebrated our 25th anniversary this year, and he certainly is the source of my happiness. Happier people are also more likely to be satisfied with their family and social activities. I think COVID really changed or decreased a lot of social activities. I know it did for me. And as part of going through these exercises, I've actually been spending more time intentionally trying to reach out and have social connection with friends that I haven't talked to in a while. Happy people also tend to consider their partner a great love, as well as receive meaningful support from friends, coworkers, as well as loved ones. There's this beautiful upward spiral. So when you work on improving and cultivating relationships, then you also start to experience more positive emotions. When you're feeling good, you're more likely to attract and maintain even more high-quality relationships. This, in turn, makes you happier, and that cycle continues. The drive to seek out and maintain strong and stable, positive interpersonal relationships really is deeply ingrained in us. It's evolutionary. Humans wouldn't have been able to survive or reproduce without this motivation. When you look at anthropology, early humans hunted together. They shared food and protected one another. In fact, one reason why we don't like to do things that cause us embarrassment or we feel shame is that we feel ousted by our groups. And back in the day, being ousted by your tribe could lead to your death or non-survival. I think in this world today, we're becoming more and more separate from people. And yet a lot of us, I think, are actually more lonely and we long for that social connection. There was definitely a day where human survival really depended on connection. And even today, when life throws us challenges, one of the most effective coping mechanisms we have is confiding in a friend. Social support really comes in many forms. It can be tangible, like giving someone a ride to the hospital. It can be emotional, like listening and offering reassurance. Or it can be informational, like offering advice or perspective to somebody. When we look at the so-called blue zones, these are communities around the world where people live the longest and healthiest lives. We find that a common thread across blue zones is strong social ties, because deep relationships really do matter. Now let's talk a little bit more about marriage. Around 90% of adults eventually married, so if you're married, strengthening your relationship with your spouse is one of the best ways to boost not only your happiness, but theirs too. It's so easy to take our loved ones for granted. I know I do this. My husband is incredibly accommodating, and I know that he just loves me so much. And I also know that there are definitely times I take him for granted. as well as forget to express my appreciation for him. When you're with someone all the time, it's easy to stop noticing the little things that they do. But it's those little expressions of gratitude, like saying thank you for taking out the trash or doing the dishes, that really matter. Try to make the point of expressing appreciation every day to your spouse. Find time to have a real conversation, a shared experience, and plan for regular date nights or nights where you can be alone with your spouse. Research shows that happy marriages are marked by a ratio of 5 positive interactions to every 1 negative one. This means that for every criticism, nag, or complaint, there should be at least 5 moments of affection, praise, or kind connection. Make it your goal each week to raise your positive affect ratio. Show love, whether it's through words, physical touch, acts of service, or whatever your love language or your spouse's love language may be. There was one study that found that it took about 2 years to fully adapt to the wonderfulness of being married. That's that honeymoon period where everything's great and it's easy to express love for your spouse. After those 2 years, many couples start to take each other and the relationship for granted. So it's worth making effort to communicate admiration and gratitude regularly. One powerful exercise is to write a list of the qualities that initially attracted you to your partner, or the things that you appreciate about them now. Think about a specific time that illustrates each one. Write about a good memory, like when you first met, when you fell in love, when your partner supported you, or even when you went through a tough time together. It can also be helpful to reflect on a moment when your partner disappointed or angered you. Then challenge yourself to come up with 2 or 3 charitable explanations for their behavior. Things like stress, miscommunication, or even good intentions that didn't land well. This can help shift your perspective away from blaming their character or assuming bad motives. You can also reflect on your shared goals, values, and beliefs. These shared foundations are what help bring you closer. And of course, conflict is inevitable in any relationship. What separates happy couples from unhappy ones isn't necessarily how often they fight, but how they handle those conflicts. Dr. John Gottman, a renowned psychiatrist and relationship researcher, has spent decades studying on what makes relationships succeed or fail. Through his research, he identified 4 negative communication patterns: criticism, contempt, defensiveness, and stonewalling, that are so destructive that he calls them the 4 horsemen of relationships. Unhappy couples often begin disagreements with harsh startups, such as sarcasm, accusations, or criticism, which are then typically followed by these 4 horsemen. If this is left undressed, then these patterns can predict the eventual breakdown of a relationship. In contrast, happy couples really stay connected in the heat of conflict. They may voice a complaint rather than a criticism. They may make small gestures like keeping eye contact or touching the other's hand to stay emotionally present even while they're fighting. If you're interested in learning more, consider reading one of Gottman's books, such as The 7 Principles for Making Marriage Work, where he shares practical tools to help couples build stronger and healthier relationships. That being said, sometimes no matter how much effort you put in, a relationship just doesn't improve. In those cases, it may be healthier to move on. But when relationships are worth nurturing, the effort can yield really deep and lasting happiness. Now, while married people, on average, tend to report greater happiness than those who are divorced, separated, widowed, or single, that doesn't mean that only married people are happy. Single individuals can have deep friendships and more frequent interactions with their social circles. And those relationships can be just as powerful in contributing to happiness. Close friendships do take effort. You want to make time for your friends. Create rituals to help you stay in touch. It could be a yoga class together once or twice a week, or getting together for dinner once a month, or even a weekly or monthly phone call. Communication matters. Share your thoughts and feelings with your friend. Be there for each other when times are tough. Another thing you can try doing is when a friend or loved one shares good news, Try to respond with genuine enthusiasm and set aside any envy or jealousy or security and celebrate with them. That kind of supportive response builds connection and deepens the relationship. Even small things like hugging can be shown to increase feelings of connection. So go ahead, hug more often. I'm definitely a hugger myself. So if we ever meet in person, I'm happy to give you a hug. At the end of the day, investing in relationships, whether with a spouse or partner, friend, coworker, or even a pet, really does pay off. Our happiness is tied deeply to the quality of our connections, so take time today to nurture one of yours. I've recently been making it a point to reach out to friends I haven't connected with in a while. As I've been prepping this episode, I took a break to have a phone date with a friend that we had set up recently. This week, I had dinner with another friend that I realized I hadn't actually seen since last November. It's easy to get busy and then miss out on spending time with friends, especially if there's no other activity that brings you together on a regular basis. But after spending time on the phone talking to a friend or having dinner with a friend, I always have a boost of happiness. And I love that connection. Thank you so much for being a listener of the Grow Your Wealthy Mindset podcast. If you love this podcast, I would love and appreciate if you could write a 5-star review with Apple Podcast. Many thanks to Johanna LB, who left this amazing review. Thank you, Elisa, for producing this podcast. I love your analytical and dogmatic way of thinking, tempered by your big heart and humanity. It's the authority of your knowledge that speaks with your humble tendency. I love it. Thank you. Thank you so much for such an incredible review. And I love those 5 stars. Be sure to reach out to someone and make a social connection today. And if you can, make a social connection with me by leaving a review for the Grow Your Wealthy Mindset podcast. See you next week on another episode of the Grow Your Wealthy Mindset podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, I would love it if you could share it with your friends and colleagues. And now for the disclaimer. I am not a certified financial planner, accountant, or attorney, and nothing I say should be construed as professional investment, tax, or legal advice. This show is primarily for your education and entertainment. I am a physician, but I'm probably not your physician. So if you need any medical advice, please contact your own physician. Thank you.